Good evening, all you wonderful listeners and viewers out there in YouTube and Facebook land. Welcome to Ashford, Garley Live on Bridge Radio Africa with Volcano Shelton, co-host. Ashford did tell you that I will be going solo probably for 2 days, meaning as Monday today, and hopefully Friday he and I will be together. But in the meantime, we want to welcome all of you, our viewers, wherever you are. We hope that you come on and coming on now because we're going to be here for the next hour and a half. And we did read our promo. We'll be covering another important issue in the country that has to do with, poor hygiene facilities and public institutions around the country, particularly on Capitol Hill where the government seat is located. We have the judiciary, the executive, the University of Liberia. We also have the legislature, the National Police Headquarters, the Ministry of Information, all of those public institutions around the Capitol Hill. We have serious hygiene problems. So we're going to be discussing those issues tonight, coupled with other things. As you and I know, there is a outbreak of the Ebola. The Ebola came out this month, again in Democratic Republic of Congo. Because now it's next door to Liberia, which is scary. This is something that we have to be concerned about, And so we'll be talking about it. We'll just throw a little light on it. We hope that the government is now taking it serious, because imagine having two national issues. You have the COVID-19 that they're still dealing with, and also if we ever should have the Ebola come back to Liberia, that would be catastrophe for the country. I don't know if we able to deal with both of those issues on both sides. So we want to welcome all of you, our viewers, this evening. If you're celebrating your birthday today, we say welcome. If you are celebrating on occasion, whether a wedding anniversary, whatever the occasion is, we say welcome all of you from far and near all over the world. We're back on our regular broadcast time, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 a.m. in Liberia. And as I speak of Liberia, I want to quickly remember our sister radio stations in the country that carry our broadcast, 105.3 Top FM in Grand Jita County, that's in the capital of Grand Jita, Zwedru. We want to say thank you so much for all you do for Bridge Radio Africa and Ashford Garley Live Show. We also want to say thank you to Joy FM 101.5 and Live FM 104.1 in Liberia. So we say thank you for all you do for our platform. Again, Ashford is not here tonight because he's tending to some very, very important behind-the-scenes business for Bridge Radio Africa. And, we're hoping for the best. We're praying for the best for this platform. We want to take it to the next level. And so we want you to keep us in your prayers. And, as we continue to do what we do for you and for the Liberian people. Not just Liberia as in particular, but the African diaspora. Someday down the road, we'll be discussing issues in other countries, as we gain the kind of recognition out there in the international world. So we want to encourage you to continue to work with us. You, our viewers. Continue to share the link. Continue to invite a friend. Like Ashford said, don't be selfish. Grab the popcorn. I'm gonna borrow his line. Grab the popcorn. Get something to drink. And let's come together tonight to have a great time here on Bridge Radio Africa, Ashford Garley Live. I'm gonna go now to bring in my studio guest. Just before that, I want to recognize three people. I don't know why people are not coming on, but you got to come on tonight because the information here to be shared would be very, very important. Raymond S. Clark. Hey, buddy, welcome. You're looking smart. Yeah, I try to do that, man. This is should I say the CNN of Africa? uh, so I got to represent. Jack Mush, how you doing? Mapla Nikia, how you doing? Welcome all you folks. It's a pleasure having you in company as we discuss this topic tonight. Let me bring in my good friend and brother, former workmate, professional colleague. We still share a common patrimony. We are contemporaries. Mr. Moses D. Sandy, former chairman and president emeritus of the Alja. The other night, I was chastised by the president when I said all Liberian journalists, but it seems that way, you know, especially here in the diaspora. But it's the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas. And he's right because I'm a former board chairman and had it wrong. But listen, we open up to everyone. Welcome, Moses. How you doing tonight?
I'm okay, man. I'm just getting ready for the snow tomorrow. I'm told that we should be getting, 5 to 8 inches. But other than that, everything is okay. The family is doing well. And how is it at your end?
Well, same thing here. We anticipating the snow. We hear that it's coming in the early morning hours.
Hmm.
So I don't know how bad it's going to be, but we're hoping for um, the best. We hope that the city folks will come in and clear, and especially the main highways, so
Yeah.
people will be able to get to work. You and I know we're in the field of human services,
Yes,
and
yes,
it's almost compelling that we go to work
it
to
is.
provide the kinds of support to our staff and
Yeah.
to our individuals we provide support to. So it's critical. But again, Moses, you and I always talk behind the scene, and we talked about this issue regarding poor hygiene facilities in public institutions. And it seems as though it's just becoming the situation that people comfortably going to live with. And I mean, when I say live with, meaning these ministries, these public institutions are just named, mainly the first branch of government,
Hmm.
where there isn't, uh, you know, consistent running water.
Right.
And I spoke with some insider at the Capitol who said that it's indeed true. Um, they have reservoirs, but sometimes they say there's no fund to bring these trucks in to put water in the reservoir so it can be used, or they have a borehole, they call it, but apparently they're not able to sustain it, that will pump water from the earth into the reservoir. So as a result, people have to tote water
Yeah. Yeah.
via gallons to fill up people barrels
Hmm.
in their offices. But then what happens with the public bathrooms in those places?
In those places.
Because it's easy for the speaker to have 2 3 gallons, I mean, barrels of water, people barrels of water,
Hmm.
and be able to flush his toilet. But what happens to the ordinary people who go there to do business? And this is not just common to the Capitol Hill, rather the Capitol
Yeah.
building. It's also common at the Ministry of Information. It's common at the Temple of Justice.
It's about
I would
justice.
doubt if it's not even common where the president office is
It is.
currently at, meaning the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Because mind you, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has four important institutions. It is the president's office, the Ministry of State, the
Yeah.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs
Yes. Yes.
itself,
Yeah.
and the
Hmm.
Passport Division.
Everybody in it.
Everyone right in that small building. So there's a lot of public,
The traffic,
consumers
the
coming in.
human traffic
Yeah,
at the
human
capital.
traffic. Put it right. Then you have the University of Liberia right
Yes.
across the street.
Right. Cross
Can
the
you
street.
imagine? Even during our time at the university, it was not that good.
No, we have
Needless to
the
say,
challenge. Yes.
yeah. So
Mhm.
come in. I just wanted to set the stage. Come in.
But look, like you said, The problem of poor sanitary conditions, um, the problem is not unique to the capital. It is a profound problem that cuts across, like you indicated earlier, government institutions. You go to Monrovia Consolidated School System, the MCSS, you have the same problem. In fact, President Weah himself acknowledged that when he toured the schools. You remember that, right? When he publicly decried the learning conditions, at MCSS schools. When you go to the Ministry of Commerce, you go to the Ministry of Post and Telecommunication, wherever you turn to, all government institutions are faced by this problem. So, in summary, what we can say, the Liberian government is significantly challenged. And one thing we need to state here is there is a correlation between hygiene and physical health. If maintenance of public bathroom or public facilities are so terrible, the likelihood of people contracting illnesses from the use of those facilities becomes extremely high, Volcano. Um, if you went to the capital and you went to use the restaurant, let's put in the case of females. You know how prevalent STDs are. You can
Absolutely.
easily contract that. And guess what? This is happening at a time that when we have a global pandemic, the coronavirus. People say, oh, well, Liberia is doing well in terms of coronavirus. That's not true. We have corona virus in Liberia. The problem is that we are not doing testing. We're not really tracking what is happening in the country. So people live under this myth that we don't have the virus. But not to go off tangent, it is important that we pay attention to our health facilities. We pay attention to public facilities in the country. To do this, it requires significant funding. If you take a closer look at the national budget for Liberia for this year, fiscal year, of 2021 to 2022, is a little over 535 million US dollars. In terms of revenue generation, it's a little over $570 million. That's what the Liberian government has, projected. Now let's do the breakdown here. One of the greatest problem our government has is recurrent expenditures, and salary having to be one of those key ones. And they are 2021, I mean 2020, 2021 budget, you see that the Liberian government, in terms of compensation, you got more than $291 million US dollars that's set aside for salaries, and that's a little over 54% of the national budget. So you go more than 50% of your national budget that basically paying salaries, right? Goods and services, the government allocated a little over $65 million for that. So if you break down that into percentages, it means that for salary, government allocated, a little over 54% of his budget. 54% of his expenditures for that, and then 12% is for goods and services. And if you do the math, you're talking about what, 66% right here. So it means that the government is basically in the red. How is the government going to attend, to maintenance? How do you keep all these bathrooms? Volcano, these things are very costly. You need to hire people. You need to buy what? Detergents to keep these facilities clean. You need running water. Let's take this back to the national legislature. You take a look again at the budget for this year, this fiscal year. The Liberian government allocated a little over $25 million to the national legislature. In that, uh, you got more than 56% off of the 25 of the more than $25 million allocated for the national legislature that goes towards salaries. So it means that the legislature is in the red. The legislature lacks the money to maintain the bathrooms at the Capitol.
So, what do you think is expedient at this point that some of these guys, if they really care about their own health and well being and the people they serve,
Mhm.
because their constituents will come to the Capitol? There are people who come in to meet with their representatives at the Capitol, with their senators at the Capitol. Don't you think it's expedient for them to take some money aside? Let's just say
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say what Darius Dillon did. I mean that
Mhm.
was his own
Yeah.
prerogative, putting $5,000 back into his
Yeah.
county. But even if people put $500 a piece, quarterly, to
Well,
be able to raise good chunk of money to keep the facility around them clean. But you know what? I was listening to something the other day, and I don't give any praise to Prophet Keith, but he
yeah.
did mention something about uh, how the country people are the reasons why Liberia is so filthy and dirty. He was very clear, and not to say country Congo or whatever,
Yeah.
but to put it that way, because if you're so civilized and you know what your hygiene should look like,
Mhm.
your surroundings should look like, you'll be concerned. But these guys are not concerned. The other day, you and I, you even sent me the clip where this guy
Mhm.
from the Justice Forum was
Yes.
going around the Capitol
Mhm.
building, and the
Where
pile,
people go outdoor to
yeah,
urinate.
yeah, the
Oh,
pile of
yeah.
dumps
Mhm.
and urine and feces all around the Capitol building, or right there in the parking lot. People, so they go there, they just come outside and ease themselves.
Oh,
And
yes, of course. Mhm.
this is extremely pitiful. So who are
Extremely.
these guys?
You're
Who are
talking
these guys
about you're
in
talking about
government?
the seat of the first branch of government, right? And again, like you said, Mr. Shelton, I think is that our problem is not prioritizing what needs to be done. Uh, the issue of maintaining the bathrooms or public, facilities at the national legislature is nothing debatable. It is an imperative. That building is frequented on a consistent basis by people. Even the lawmaker themselves, their own health is in danger. If they are not using those terrible bathrooms, but they shouldn't forget that they have their staff that running in and out of those bathrooms. And with the corona around, do you know what it means?
And especially
Using any of those
keep
filter
sanitizing,
bathrooms? Yeah,
keep sanitizing, keep cleaning.
you
Here in
have
the
to
cities,
continuously
we're
clean.
wiping down, surfaces and stuff.
We
So
do.
you even got water.
You
You ain't,
don't.
there's no electricity, consistent electricity and consistent water.
Mhm.
So how do you operate like this? But yeah, what it is, Moses, and you're
Yeah,
coming.
yeah.
These guys are fighting for themselves. I tell you, this first branch of government
Mhm,
in the early time to this time,
mhm.
they're only about themselves.
Yeah.
And this is the new place where they can get rich quick. That's why
Mhm.
everyone wanting to be senator and wanting to be representative.
Yeah.
What they do, they get the money, they build a big houses, put fence around it, they get generator in there, they get in 900 gallons of fuel. I don't know if it's the same amount, but it's substantial enough. And they're running the generator. They
Yeah.
dig the well, they put the machine down in the well, it pumps the water to the reservoir. They have running water at home, steady
Mhm.
electricity at home, and
Yeah.
they don't care about the rest of the people. But
Yeah.
these are the same people who run the street, muya muya, zekwe muya muya, and they don't care about the well-being. Look at Monrovia, look at the filth around the city. And here we are with a major pandemic, and we're
Mhm.
about, you know, God knows. Liberia and Guinea, they're right close to each other. If Guinea now has Ebola, there is no telling that it's not going to come in Liberia.
It's
There's
likely.
no telling because the borders are just like walkways.
Yeah.
You just cross through and you're in Liberia or you're in Guinea.
Mhm.
So what is this, Moses? How can we continue to keep this country behind?
Our people are just not prioritized. Look, we have a systemic problem. We have the problem with pervasive corruption, and that's one of those things that really undermine, the Liberian state. We have politicians who are extremely greedy. They are more fixated on the personal well-being than the interests of the state or the country. You know, you don't need to tell senators that they need to have decent bathrooms. That should be the least of their worries because that should be allocated for. It's no excuse for someone to say, oh, well, we got boreholes, we don't have running water. That is inexcusable. That should be the least. How these people going to set up their work and expect people coming from their constituencies coming to see them and they have nowhere to go to attend nature? So our people need to begin to think about what is right for the country and make that a priority. Let that be number one. Focus on the well-being of the people. And that's our greatest problem.
And the
Politicians
people,
are driving 50, $60,000 cars in a country that have what terrible road conditions. You make the mayor president, he comes, he builds an estate in less than 6 months. He tears down his 9th Street residence. And he wants people to accept that as a normal way of life. You can't do that. Our politicians are extremely corrupt. Look in the legislature. How many of our lawmakers over there don't have blemished characters? Vani Shema, Funati Kofa, Milton Tiaje. All of these guys have what? Blemished characters because of what? Malfeasance. So these are the people that's supposed to be telling Liberians what is good for them or not. And the list goes on. There are several. So our people really need to begin to identify what is good for the country, what is not good, and make the interest of Liberia number one.
so
That's
somebody
our
is asking here, Mr. Host, how old is
Mhm.
Liberia? Did the past government create these avenues that this government came to destroy them? No, 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 no. We're not blaming this government alone,
Yeah.
but but this government is the government now, and
Hmm.
the national legislature is the legislature now, and
Hmm.
so they shouldn't be sitting there and continuing the same modus operandi. But
No.
let's come back to the drawing board. Long before the war, our civil war, and I don't know your age of Ferguson 1 year, but before the civil war in Liberia, we had pipe bone running water. We
Yeah.
had electricity. I
Mhm.
mean, it was not exceptionally constant, but it was good enough that if current went, it didn't take long to come back, and we just yell at LEC and it come back. But since the war, if these people destroy the country with a hope, brought a war to destroy the country with a hope that they were going to rebuild, then let's begin with Charles Taylor. Let's begin with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And now
Mhm.
let's begin with George Weah, who said, okay, all those people feel, and I'm the one who's going to take the helm of leadership and catapult this country to the next level. But what
Mhm.
we see here is business as usual. They come back with the same, operation. So we're not let's people not miss the mark here. We're not talking about Mr. George Weah and his government. We're talking about a systemic issue in the country. But if people who are in power cannot change it, then who's going to change it? Who do we depend on to change it? So that's why people need to understand the discussion is in the now. We can't continue to look at the past. The
Right.
past is behind us. We need to utilize the now and to put us in a better future. But for
Mhm.
every time people want to make comparison, who's government, no. If I'm Volcano Shelton now, the president of Liberia, everything that's happening to Liberia is rested on me. If the national legislature is the current legislature, and they said they were coming, even some of the new senators now who just came,
Mhm.
they said they were coming to make changes. And let's
Yeah.
see whether in these next 3 years that's left, since the senatorial election, those people will come and make changes. So this is what it's about. It's not about one person. Nobody's pointing finger at President Weah, but at the same time, President Weah is the president.
Mhm.
Nobody's pointing finger at the national legislature, but at the same time, this is the national legislature. So we cannot go back to Taylor time. We cannot go back to Turbo time. We cannot go back to Doe time. We know what we experienced in Turbo time. We know what we experienced in Doe time. So that's about it. So people should stop mixing apples and oranges here. We're talking about oranges right now. That's what trending in Liberia. And one of the things I said, Moses,
Yeah.
to myself,
Mhm.
I was saying as I was driving, prepping my mind for this program, I was thinking to myself, who swear Liberia? Who cursed that country? But then as I was thinking, I said, since 1979 to 2003, if justice is not brought on those who perpetrated the destruction of lives and property, and they continue to hang around and enjoy with impunity, Liberia will remain where she is. It is important for these people to pay for the crimes. They need to be stripped of every penny
Of
they
course.
earned through hook or crook for the
The
killing of
reward.
those people. All of the people who died, more than 300,000 people those rather 40 years, plus for us to really have a new country reconciled, you know,
Mhm.
that would be able to go forward, because these people continue to recycle the problem to keep us in chaos, to make the ordinary man feel less of importance, and they're the ones who's supposed to keep the country, and that's
Yeah.
what happening. And unfortunately, the poor George Weah, he takes over with a blank slate, and here he is now just playing to the whims and caprices of these people, and that's why Liberia is where it's at. So we in a tug of war.
Yeah, I won't say Liberia is cursed, and I can tell you, and anyone who has consistently followed Liberian politics over the year will agree with me that Liberia's greatest problem is greed. Our political leaders are self-centered. There's no sense of nationalism. We saw that with Mr. Taylor. We saw that with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her people. There were people in Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration that literally looted the resources of Liberia. You know what happened at Nuka. And Ellen said what? She takes responsibility because her son was accused of misapplying millions of US dollars. That's no nationalism. And another challenge we have is that the problem of rule of law. We don't hold people accountable. Look into this administration. You have other reports that points accusing fingers to prominent public officials, and yet nothing happens. We know about the mop-up exercise, $25 million. No one can tell us what happened to that.
Raw cash money.
$25 million taken from the country's reserve. They promised the people what? COVID package, another 25 million, 25 or $30 million. Up to now, no one knows. And I was listening to President Weah, today. I think it was no, not today, either on Monday or so. I was listening to one of his broadcasts, and he had the audacity to tell the people of Nimba that what he has accomplished in a period of 3 years far exceed that of his predecessors. Can you believe that? When you have rampant corruption all over the place, you lied to the people that you gave them what, $30 million package for coffee. You did not deliver, but yet you want to come across as well the most achieved president. You misapply $25 million. You didn't punish anybody, and you come, you tell them, "Yeah, I am the most accomplished president." Isn't that hypocritical? This is the problem with our country. People lie openly, and nobody holds them accountable.
And the people laugh, the chair and the
They
jeer,
they jubilate. They call him
yeah.
Mr. President. Oh, Mr. President, you are doing this. You are great. We will vote for you. We love you. Sycophancy. That's one of those things that are killing our country. Most of our people, we don't tell our leaders the truth. We don't hold people accountable. Do you think Prince Johnson should be deciding who gets elected in Lima or not? He should be answering for the ills committed over the years. But these are people that are running the country, you know? So that's our problem. We have people who are occupying position of trust. They themselves have problems, moral and professional problems as well. So what do we do? The country what perishes. Liberia is not cursed, but the political leaders are not interested in the well-being of the country. They are more concerned about themselves.
All right, Moses, we're at intermission. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'll believe 1:30 a.m. GMT. This is
Okay.
Ashford Garley live here on Bridge Radio Africa, Volcano Shelton, co-host of the program. Keeping company with Moses Sandy, we are discussing hygiene issues in Liberia, particularly in public institutions, where we assume that those in power will be concerned about their own health and well-being.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not the case. We also want to just throw light that the Ebola is surging. We know of the cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and of course, it usually starts in that basin because of the chimpanzee and gorillas in that area. And apparently, I don't think this is gonna go away, Moses, because always it starts over there and it begins to spread. And Africa is such where people commute through the forest. Sometimes they don't have, what you call it, good transportation, and they go through the jungle. Sometimes
Yeah.
they eat animals.
Mhm.
Who knows? Maybe that's
And
the
we
way it begins
intermingle.
to
You know,
spread. And
yeah.
now it's next door in Guinea. Let me
Mhm.
just quickly go to an article, quickly, Moses,
It's,
um, that
it's
I
yeah.
wanted to throw light on,
Yeah.
and so we can give our listeners an opportunity for those who didn't get to follow through yet.
Mhm.
Um, it is said that health authorities in Guinea today declared an outbreak of Ebola in the rural community
Mhm.
of Gweke in Zerikore prefecture after three Ebola cases were confirmed by the national laboratory, marking the first time the disease has been reported in the country since an outbreak back in 2016.
Yeah.
Initial investigations found that a nurse from the local health facility died on January 28th, this
Mhm.
past January 2021. Following her burial, six people who attended the funeral reported Ebola like symptoms, and two of them have died, while the other four have been hospitalized.
Okay.
Guinea was one of the three most affected countries in 2014 through 2016. The West Africa Ebola outbreak, which was the largest since the virus first discovered in
Mhm.
1976.
Yeah.
It's a huge concern to see the resurgence of Ebola in Guinea, a country which has already suffered so much from the disease. However, banking on the expertise and experience built during the previous outbreak, health teams in Guinea are on the move to quickly trace the path of the virus and curb further infections. But,
Yeah.
brother,
Yeah.
this
We
is
hope.
serious.
Yeah.
So,
We hope and pray that we can be able to that West Africa,
yeah.
especially
And it
Guinea.
talked about,
Yeah.
the article talked about, Guinea,
Hmm.
Liberia, and Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
In a
Because we are
combined
we are.
total of more than 12,000 people died as a
Mhm.
result of the outbreak.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. Are we equipped at this time? Where is Mr. Ebola hero, Sir Joseph?
He's in the house.
you know,
You
um,
know, we want to send him back again, to take on that role. But this is a serious matter. Given the lifestyle our people live back on, we intermingle. We are always running into one another. We hugging one another. We eat together. We do everything in common. In fact, in some homes, you may have about 6 or 7 persons in one bedroom. So the kind of lifestyle that our people live, especially in the villages, that just make it easier for the spread of virus. You can easily spread virus from one person to another because of close contact. So we hope that the health authority will be able to manage this well. Whether Liberia is prepared is another thing, it's another question, or that could be another discussion by itself. Because again, if you look at the national budget, I think health accounts for more than $66 million. I listened to one of the senators, and Volcano, you won't believe this, from Grand Bassa County. And this lady was complaining that the entire Grand Bassa County has no ambulance. Grand Bassa County has no ambulance. So if you have a health disaster, how do you deal with that? If someone is struggling, if someone collapse and the person has to be taken to the emergency immediately, how do you transport this person? You don't have an ambulance. Then it comes to the question whether Liberia is prepared. Is Liberia prepared for any outbreak?
But don't you think they should be closing the borders, Moses, immediately? I understand, but this is a serious matter. We have
It
a
is.
national, an international, actually, an international pandemic, global pandemic.
Mhm.
And here you come, Ebola again?
That is a complicated situation that we are faced with right now. You have a pandemic, and then you have Ebola knocking on your door. What do you do? Do you shut the country off? And if you do, how do you manage that? If you don't, if Ebola hits your shore, what do you do? Or hits your border, what do you do? So Liberia is faced with what? A significant problem. This could be more like what? A conundrum? Who knows? But this is serious.
I think an immediate task force put together, health task force put together by the president immediately,
Mhm.
calling the health minister, and Phil, and
Mhm.
bringing these people together to start strategizing on what they're going to do. Because again, we all saw what Ebola did in Liberia. I was in Liberia in 2014, July up to August. I
Okay.
left Liberia by the skin of the teeth, and I'm telling you, it was not ordinary. But we will be opening the line very shortly. I want to read this stuff from this writer. Let me get to it quick. Michael Slewian Tiabor. He says that when the CDC campaigned in 2017 to solicit the votes of the Liberian people, they did that on the basis of change. They said they were going to bring change, meaning to undo the wrongs of the past and do
Hmm.
the rights to move the country forward. It is deceptive to continue blaming the past after 3 years. The change is for themselves. As we can see, it's all
Hmm.
about their own individual interest. They are first in the queue.
Of course.
I think that was brilliantly written.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. But I want to go also to
That's a
you know,
brilliant piece, right?
welcome some of the folks here tonight.
Hmm.
Thomas Awaji, Serena Teasley, we are Do. I see Liberia. Raymond Clark, welcome. Jack Murch, you're back in the house. Bach Miller, welcome, Bach. Hi, Georgia. Hope you're doing great. Uh, Ferrisine 1 year. Abu Bebeto Fofana, Liberia Constitution, I believe that's a pseudonym.
Hmm.
Jacob G. Daniel, Galo Galo, Ansumana Ability, Robert Zawu, Marula Moore, Wiado, um, Samuel Abu. Mr. Abu, he said, how sure is it that this Ebola is not already in Liberia? The era of the outbreak in Guinea is on the border with Liberia, with a
Yeah.
busy international market where Liberians go
Yeah.
where they commute
They
daily.
go to the border towns to shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
zero query, right?
Zircon, yeah, Zircon. They go there to shop, and come right back to Liberia to sell. And when you have that kind of a human traffic, the likelihood of people transporting Ebola to Liberia becomes extremely high. Now, like you were saying, are we ready? Are we ready to battle this while at the same time battling, Corona? That's the question. And I agree with you when you said that now is the time that for the president to begin working with health authorities in the country to ensure that Liberia, put in place the appropriate measures that will help to manage this situation because this is very scary, Buchanan.
Absolutely, Moses. If you just join us, Bridge Radio Africa, Ashford Garley Live, we're coming your way Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays via our Facebook and YouTube channels. We welcome all of you tonight. The topic is very interesting. We're talking about, poor hygiene facilities at public institutions in the country. We want to say thank you to 105.3 Top FM in Zwedru, Grangita County, Joy FM 101.5, and Live FM 104.1. Coming Friday, we will be bringing on the Grand Jita Association in the Americas. We're trying to work out and finalize the modalities. It's supposed to be our guest here on Friday, 8 p.m. Hopefully, Ashford would be in the house. Otherwise, I might be going solo again. But yeah, so Grand Jita, get ready for us. I'll be speaking some crown. I'll be trying my little crown. I've been learning behind the scenes from Ashford.
I'll be home monitoring, my
Yeah,
man.
just took by your gate, all the small little one. The
I was
only one know so far. So
so I can learn the
like to
crown
think,
language,
um,
the crown dialect too,
yeah,
Yeah,
so callers, you can go ahead and now and begin calling in. The number to call is 404-272-2808. Again, 404-272-2808. Here on Ashford Garley Live Bridge Radio Africa. We are here to enlighten you, our viewers and listeners all over the world, wherever you're picking up signal. We talk about the issues in the country. This is not about political, hullabaloo. This is not about pointing finger. This is about discussing the issues because Liberia is our one and only love, and we need to talk about those things that trending. Continue, Moses.
yeah. If I can just take you back to the capital, where you have lawmakers acting their staff to literally, tow water in buckets, in containers, to their bathrooms. That's a form of modern slavery. And most of these guys are paid little or nothing. You have legislators start making $50 a month, $100 a month. So somebody earning $100 is made to walk down what Capitol Hill to tow water from there to the office of a lawmaker. That shouldn't be happening to this Liberia. Things have changed, man. Let our lawmakers do better on that.
But even the people,
Let
the
them put
people, the
some
people struggle,
resources
Moses.
aside water. Yeah,
Yeah, they struggle to
go
hold all
ahead.
that water. Still, they won't pay them.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they don't want to pay the people.
They
The other
don't.
man had to get on the pro temp car. Say the car ain't going today.
Yeah.
That's not
And
cool.
this
But let me
guy,
bring this
I
caller
heard.
in, Moses.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let me bring this caller in.
Hmm.
Caller, are you there?
Yes, yes, we.
Okay. Moses, can you hear the caller?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Uh,
Are you there, caller?
Okay. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah. The caller is.
Moses, good evening.
Good evening. How
Dr.
are
V,
you?
good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
yeah.
I'm good, I'm good. Well, I'm looking at this hygiene problem in Nigeria. Uh, a long life problem. Nigeria does not and has not have no hygiene plan. Because
Absolutely.
if you take yourself and stop and go back to before the war,
Mhm.
if you were walking down Broad Street and you needed to pee, you either wait until you get to cinema, you go behind there and you pee, or you pee in your pants,
That's true.
okay? Or you go behind Ratchet Cinema between in the left corner there, and you pee.
That's true.
We
I
need
agree.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
caller.
we are listening. Go ahead.
Hurry up. Caller,
the
are you there?
government need to be more proactive. Yes, I'm here,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're not getting me.
Yeah, because
Yeah, we are listening to you. Go ahead.
Okay.
try to
The
wrap it
government
up.
needs to be more proactive and get more into making it a mandatory thing for businesses to have public bathrooms. I
Absolutely.
think that will help to solve our problem. While you
Absolutely.
solve that in the public facilities as well.
All right.
Hmm.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I agree with the caller. The government has to make this a priority. Public facilities should have what? Functional restrooms. Even businesses should have functional restrooms. You can run businesses in the city center when you don't have functional restrooms. So what happened to your customers?
All
What
right.
happened to individuals who go to seek services from government institutions?
Let me go back to the line. Quick.
Sure. Hmm.
Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is T. I'm calling from Jersey.
All right. What's your contribution to the discussion?
Well, my contribution to the discussion is everything you guys say is true. And then someone is reason to another thing because Moses has said, when Joe we are go places like that, when he making all these statements or making all these press conferences or whatever, there's no good journalist there to ask him question or to even, to counter, you know, say what he said. Because when I left Liberia, I had running water. I even had landline in my house when I came to America. So all these things they're talking about, oh, the country was like that. And another thing, they need to stop blaming the past government. Enough is enough. They're already there now. Let them do what they have to do. But then some of my region of people know what they're supposed to do. So many people were living one day on an apartment or on the side with their side commode. The guy can say, Chimo, their side commode. So they don't know how to do things. So the thing is really nasty. And they're still not doing what they're supposed to do. Yesterday, Jefferson OG, Moravia, there's a thing out there that he is dedicated to clean the country. Ask all these different people then to participate, all the young men, put them to work to clean up. But instead, he wore a white suit, parading in the street with people behind him. And again, I'm sorry some people might be offended. There's no disrespect. The countrymen talk for the country how many years you still don't know what to do. So obviously, the countrymen really need to take over. And that's my opinion. Because the countrymen don't know what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
sad.
Thank you. Let me go to the next caller quick.
Absolutely.
Caller, are you there? Hello,
Yes.
caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
Boston House, calling from Minnesota.
All right. Welcome. You're following the discussion. What's your input?
Well, while it's true I came out a little late, my only concern is somebody talk about having public bathrooms, I mean, those are things we saw. Those are all I grew up in the 70s and things we used to have government toilets here and there. But we got to look at the system, the sewer system. So are you saying that every business that open up, people are carrying gallons of water, paying for gallons of water? What happened to the government making the water accessible? So let's look at some of these shortcomings too. Because if you say, okay, yes, I got my business, people going to come from the street, can I use your bathroom? Yes, go ahead, use the bathroom. How do you flush that water? How do you flush that bathroom? You have to pay for water. That is not in what I'm working for. To get that extra. As much as you are paying for the water bill, but you are not receiving water, but you have to provide for other people, then how do you work that out? That was my only concern. And I want to tell you thank you. Thanks a whole lot for what you guys are doing. It's information and it's very good. But we got to look at some of those things too. I think water and sewer need to elevate what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
If we need to do some of those things.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yes, Moses, and that was one of the things I was going to come in to talk about.
Yeah.
Regarding the amenities,
Mm-hmm.
government continue to miss priorities. The country cannot be industrialized without consistent pipe-borne water
Pipe-borne water.
people and consistent electricity.
City. Yeah, yeah.
Let me come in quick. So here what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have constant electricity. Electricity is more of pick and choose, I will put it, because people got to almost every time have to protest when a transformer blow up in the community. No one comes. They go to the LEC. They promise them 6 months, 1 year. Then they bring some kind of makeshift transformer. They hang it up. By the time they hang that transformer up, all the people, including businesses, on that one transformer, the transformer blows up. Then they go back to square one. Then they get in the darkness. Water not coming because water and seawater itself struggling. I don't know what is budget and what's going on.
Right.
But you cannot move that country forward, Moses, without electricity and without water. But also, you got to understand that the era we are talking about here, the 70s and the 80s, we had a population of less than 3 million people, right?
Yes.
Today, we about 5 million unofficially.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the sewage system itself is corroded over time. Matter of fact, you
No
see every day
repair.
the people digging here in America, they're digging and replacing these sewage.
Yeah.
You
No.
know, in Liberia, it's the same old stuff since Todman time.
Mm-hmm.
So those things are clogged now over the years, the drainages and all of that. But you have a city mayor who comes in and wear coat suit every day and think he's the top dog, like he's a dress boy,
Yeah.
but no strategist, no one's because come to tell you the truth, Monrovia is a city government of its own.
Of course.
They should be able to generate their own budget.
Mm-hmm.
They should be able to run their own police department. They should be able to run their own city management.
Of
There
course.
must be a city manager. The Mr. Jefferson coaches should just be ceremonials.
Of course.
He's just the political speaker.
You
There must
just
be a city manager trained
of course.
in public
Yeah.
administration, the degree that I earned to be
Yes.
able to run the city itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the man want to be everything. And so that's the situation. So let me take this other caller quick because he's really pushing me. Caller, are you there? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Ben Snyder, calling from New York.
Coming quick. You got a minute.
Okay, so I just want to touch on the issue of the sanitation concerns. I'd like to point out here, I think we're jumping over the main issue. The main issue here should be that we should first have a government. What I see in Monrovia right now is just a ceremonial government. Everybody's doing what they feel like doing. Nobody has control over anything. There's lawlessness in the city. So, in the absence of a solid government that can run the affairs of the country, you're definitely not going to have all these things into play. So let's first address the governmental issue. Let there be a government that has control over the situation in the country. Then we can come to all of these things. In the absence of that, we just fighting a losing battle.
So the government in power is not a real government. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying it's not a real government, but it does not have authority. It is not exerting its authority.
Okay.
Maybe I should say it out.
Not you say
But
yeah.
they're not exerting
Yeah.
their authority.
They're not exerting their authority
All right.
over the people that the citizens.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I got another caller on the line. Let me go to that caller quick. Caller calling from 0065. Last 4 digits of your number. Are you there, caller?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
What's your name and where
I'm
you
here.
calling from?
Yes, my name is Amos, and I'm calling from Delaware.
Okay, welcome.
Yes, one thing I wanted to say here is that part of the problem that we have in Liberia is not that the government has to do everything by itself, but accepting proposals, accepting, ideas from other people, that's one major problem. Now, I'll give you an example. Some time ago, I came up with a plan based on my current job experience and past job experiences to map the entire country of Liberia, beginning with Monrovia. The same zip code system you have in the United States, you can do Monrovia, every major city first, beginning with cities, and then we'll go to the entire country. Mapping up the country with zip codes, area code, house numbers, street names, house numbers, and of course, establishing ownership of every vacant and occupied property in Monrovia. That's one way government can gain more revenue, especially real estate revenue, which is very crucial in developing any country. And then my plan is so extensive because in my plan, government can decide whatever real estate taxes that are generated or revenue that's generated from real estate taxes for an entire year or from certain cities. Government can earmark certain areas of the city where they can issue loans. Maybe the government does not even have to get involved. They could leave the money into a bank, and then the bank can issue loans to individual homeowners to renovate their homes, follow certain standards. Houses that are not developed, properties that are not developed. If people pay taxes on those properties, they'll be forced to develop them. Or if they can't develop them, of course, they will sell part of them, part of the property, and then the other portion they can develop them. So as time goes by, you will see that Monrovia will be fully developed and houses will be uniformed. Every house in Liberia can have toilets because when those laws are given out, there are certain standards you have to follow. You want to build a smaller house, whatever size you want to build, you must have a toilet. You must meet specific standards.
So let me interrupt you quickly. I like your plan, but if the government is not paying the people on time, people going for 17 months without pay, how are they going to pay those loans back?
You know what?
Square one.
You know what? I almost call you Ashford, but that's a good question. Every country, every developed country, even in Ghana, people pay mortgages. And people look. If we want to develop Monrovia, we have to revamp the entire infrastructure in Monrovia because there are no toilets. Like people are saying, no toilets. But if somebody takes a $10,000 loan to build a certain house according to certain standards, it doesn't have to be an expensive house. That person, you can build that house. How many bedrooms you have there? If you can afford it, you can rent, part of the property. And then people occupying that property can pay a rent. And, government, you can pay like maybe $200 a month or $100 a month for 10 years. What's going to happen here is that Monrovia will be developed because, I don't know when last you went to Monrovia, but you can see there are a lot of properties that are.
Matter of fact, my bags are packed. I'm on my way to Monrovia. But now
there
when
you go.
Ebola coming, I'm kind of happy second thought.
All right, but what I want to say here,
we'll pray that we get it under control.
Even developed, and they are just sitting there. People have owned land in our city for how many years? Hundreds of years. And the land is just sitting there. They can't build on the land. Nobody else can build on the land. And look, my plan will also resolve many of the land issues that we have in Monrovia. Because we have a comprehensive system that's computerized, that's built, it's an online based system.
So what do you want to do with this plan?
Well, yes. I've tried to reach the government, but in the past, the government used to have, you mentioned a website where you could send your proposal. In fact, communicated with Ellen Staff, when she was, but now. You can't even send an email to the executive mansion. So,
how you send email when people that are trying to eat?
Okay, but I've spoken to I'm not going to call his name, an individual, a past government individual who saw my plan. He really loved it, and so we are working on some other modalities. But I'm telling you, this is a good plan to develop this develop our country.
Hang on to that plan. Maybe someday we'll invite you as our studio guest to lay out.
Oh yes. Okay? Yes, please. You got my number. You call me up and I will talk to somebody because I've talked to somebody. But anytime you got my number,
okay.
Call me up. Let me know. All right.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Moses. So people are thinking outside of the box. People are strategizing on how we can improve Liberia, the things we need to do. But Liberia has just turned into a hustle ground. A hustle ground. Guys were working here in the States, barely paying the rent and mortgages, got quick degrees, whether hook or crook, and then I'm going home. I'm going to get job. And you leave from here with that kind of confidence. And then next day you see the man in big position.
Yeah, man.
And you wonder, what the heck? How is this guy? How did he get the job? But somebody inside knows somebody, and somebody just, and when you got somebody who just signing paper, they're not reading, what will
Yeah.
happen, So Moses, come in before we go to break.
Yeah. Look, we have to learn to prioritize. And I think that would be my recommendation, not only to members of the national legislature, but let them take a closer look at their own personal well being. Keep that Capitol building clean. If your environment is dirty, then it means that your health is in danger. Let us stop this modern slavery of letting people hold water every morning. Oh, this is for the office of the speaker. This is for the office of the deputy speaker. Liberia has evolved. We cannot remain in the past. This is too primitive, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the
I
seat
have a
of the national
sorry, yeah,
legislature,
Moses. I have another caller. Let me
yeah.
call from 1665 number. Are you there?
Hey V, what's up? How are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. Who is this? And please tell me where you calling from and your name.
Oh, my name is Alvin, and I'm calling you from Massachusetts.
Okay, welcome. We're talking about public uh, facilities, hygiene facilities, the lack thereof in public institution and the unsanitary for the country, especially during this COVID.
Mhm.
And we hear Ebola is knocking on the doors at the border.
Thank you so much, brother. I pray that Ebola thing stay where it is right now. We don't want nothing right now. But anyway, let's go straight to the point. I'm on my way to work, and I've been hearing all of the callers. V, let me tell you something. The biggest problem in our country is corruption, brother. Oh, I heard your last caller talking. He brought he was like subject next point. Let me tell you something, my brother, which is the Capitol building. It's nasty and dirty like that. And those guys sit right in there making 10,000 plus United States dollars in our country. All right? They can't even afford to take care of that place. Then where you think in our country will be we have barren and stuff. One of your callers said, I don't know whether we'll have a government or not, but you have everybody in our country that don't even know what they are doing. Everybody in Liberia, they are doing one thing. And the only thing they are doing, those government officials, the only thing they are doing just to impress President William. That's it.
And why they stealing?
Mhm.
Just to impress President William that everywhere he going, get up in the morning, shower, wear that a proper suit, join in a convoy. Just like what I see. You're talking about Memorial Day or Saturday. Where the city mayor of the city is supposed to be crafting, meeting on donors, putting pen to paper to see what to do for the city of Monrovia. They're in wetsuit, drilling. They're going to say it is Flag Day. There's Flag Day.
People joking, my
All
man.
right.
Let me give another caller the opportunity to come in. Thank
You
you
know,
so much, my man. Thank you.
brother,
Thank you,
we're not
Alvin.
going nowhere, man. We're not going nowhere, V.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
not
you.
going nowhere, bro.
Caller, thanks for your patience. 7611. Are you there?
I'm here. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is your boy from Boston, Mass. How you doing?
Hey, Dwalu?
Yeah. How
Come
you doing,
on.
brother?
Come on. Come in.
Yeah. So I heard a little briefly, but whenever they're talking about sanitation, about the issue of Liberia, I always try to call in because, we're the people that have been pushing for this for the last 10, 15 years on how the sanitary conditions in the country. The solutions are there. They can be solved. You're talking about the legislature. In fact, there was a time where we tried to negotiate with them to properly clean the bathroom, to make modeling, space modeling, to be a minister of any other administrative building around the world. Even the garbage, about this over and over, nobody will listen. It is so easy for people to assume that somebody goes to Liberia and he or she is not successful. So that makes that person not trying hard enough or they fail. That's not how the situation works in Liberia. For 10 years, I operated a sanitation business in Liberia. I know how those conditions work in Liberia, and I know specifically why the conditions are the way they are. And it's due to the people walking around the street. People always try to attribute the reasoning to people. Oh, yes, so try to fight around. No, it's not true. There has not been employed any mechanism by the administration to make sure those doesn't happen. You must institute sanitation, like anything else that is for the public. It must be instituted and done properly. You cannot grab a wheelbarrow and go down the street and you go ahead and do it. As it stands right now, I was fortunate enough for this born December to go to the country and present a proposal to the government. And I spoke to all the way up. The details I will not say here, but everybody's heard about it. I made a lot of videos about it. People have to understand we have to address the issues facing our country. Government cannot do it all, even though the government plays a role where in many instances it denies the business ventures that will take care of these problems. But we cannot, there has to be a collective push to change the narrative in the country. I just called to say that the sanitation issue is dear to my heart because I spent so much energy on this issue. Hopefully somebody will listen someday and our city can be brought into the 21st century. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, Dualu. Thank you, Opa. Um, Moses, this is serious matter.
Yeah, this
We
is very serious.
have these issues. Again, we're not pointing finger like we always say. We just want to talk about the issues, and that's why we open the line so that callers can have the opportunity. We also open the chat, for callers to chime in, and we take time to read some of their,
Yeah.
their little sentences to write out.
Mhm.
uh, because this is a conglomeration of thoughts and ideas coming together. These people who are spending their time here with us, we say thank you, because you could be anywhere, but the issue here we're talking about is dear to your heart, is dear to your country, and that's why we continue to talk about these things because it's very important.
Absolutely.
I really want to remind you again that next week, by the grace of God, we will be going back to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The
Mhm.
TRC will be looking at the uh, what you call it, the recommendations. We hope to bring Massa Washington back here as our studio guest to start talking about those recommendations put forth in the TRC report. Hopefully, this government can pay attention because, accordingly, those recommendations will have helped any government to change the narrative in Liberia,
Mhm.
to you know bring hope to the people. But if they continue to play lip service and pretend like they don't know their responsibilities, then of course we're not going to get anywhere. And it's just important that she comes back here. I have the document. She's already sent it out to me. I will be combing through it over the weekend just so that I myself can be engaged because this is a very, very, very important discussion we're going to be holding. So I just wanted to remind you because some of you continue to ask what happens to the TRC, what happened to the TRC. So we'll have the TRC here next week, Monday. Friday, we expect to have the Grand Jury Association in the Americas here on Bridge Radio Africa.
Yeah.
Well, if you're just joining us from around the world, we see Dodi Davis, Zanga David, Agaisi Dualu. Oh, that's our man. Okay, he just called. Also, we want to say hi to Benedict Snyder. You guys are doing extremely well to hang out with us. We say thank you for being there. Justina Harris Bestman, uh, Emmanuel Charles Dudu, um, God Give Bachu, Jacob G. Daniels, Agnes Samukai Moba, Jacob Williams, Sam Abu, our man Sam Abu, uh, in the Philadelphia area. We say welcome to the program tonight. Moses, we're still talking about this thing, but listen, how can we move from this point if the people themselves don't feel that they're in a diet? Because you got to feel uncomfortable.
Oh
If
yeah.
you're if you're in an uncomfortable environment and you can't see it, there's something wrong with you.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Uh,
listen, Moses,
yeah.
all around the Capitol Hill,
You
the
know.
black urine stain on the
Yeah.
grounds of the Capitol Hill, the filth, the stench, the
Yeah.
dirt. And these guys drive air conditioned cars,
Exactly.
go to
Anything
work,
is anything.
sit
Everything
in
is
their
before.
house. They feel like everything is okay.
Yeah,
No, they
you
think
know,
for themselves. I don't think they know that the environment is filthy.
they
I don't
do.
think so. Because if they knew, they would be doing something.
They are just being insensitive. But like you said, change comes from within. No one can coerce another person to make a change. People can talk about it, and you recognize it, and resolve ahead. It is time to change, and we think it is time for our lawmakers to do that critical self-appraisal. Let them look at their own environment. The guy, people coming to see them almost every day. The human traffic in our Capitol building, it is extremely high. So
But
to
let's not
have
even
no,
talk about just the Capitol building. Go to the Temple of Justice.
no, but I want to.
Imagine Moses carrying water all the way to I don't know how many floor up there. Imagine putting water on your head to carry up there.
That's what I told you. That's more than slavery. Our people are being enslaved by their own lawmakers. Can you imagine somebody going down what Dam or King Johnson Road to haul water to the Capitol building? That's more than slavery, man. Buffer chambers, the speaker. I mean, how you call it? The Senate Pro Tem. They need to put their acts together, man. That is shameful. This is embarrassing. Let's use the seat of the first branch of government as a, you know, as,
Yardstick.
as an example, as a yardstick for what we're talking about. Let them set the example, and then the others will follow. We want the next time that when people go to the Capitol, they will come and tell us that look, things have changed for the better. It is shameful. It is embarrassing to see lawmakers in a facility that has no running water.
But
All
I
the
also heard
go
I
ahead.
also heard Moses that the current president, when he was former senator, at the time he was senator, uh, he faced similar plight where he was flushing his toilet with bucket of water from the
You have bunker in your office, but everybody got a little bunkers, in the
so
office.
President Weah is aware that this situation is taking place, but it's not in his power because he's one of the branches of government.
Yeah,
So he or represents one of the branches of government. So the House, like I said earlier, in before people came on,
mhm.
the problems of Liberia, the fixability of the issues in Liberia begins with that House or those houses, lower and upper house.
Yeah, it begins with them.
If these people don't do anything for that country, the country will remain where it's at.
Yeah, I
But a
mean,
bulk of these guys only go in there because they want to be rich. And I
yeah.
don't know how much more they want to be rich.
Oh,
Because I keep saying, how much money can you earn when you're gonna die and leave it all here? Yeah, young man Kobe Bryant left $500 million.
yeah,
Young man,
yeah. He
early
left it
40s, $500
and
million.
just went like that, but like
Nobody carries anything with them.
yeah,
Why these people cannot leave legacies,
it's
positive
over.
legacies? Why
I
it always has to be corrupt, 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 corrupt?
I told you earlier that our greatest problem in that country is why greed, self-centeredness. So look at this hypocrisy. Uh, the House or the legislature has oversight responsibility, right? And the other day, the president visited public schools and he complained about poor learning conditions at those institutions. Wasn't that hypocritical? Do you want to tell me that the chairman of the Senate Standing Committee on Health or the chairman of the Senate Standing Committee on Education will invite the school principal and complain that, oh, well, you don't have running waters at your school?
When he doesn't
He doesn't have it?
a cabinet building.
Yeah, and they want to keep. So you telling us that, oh well, you're keeping students in a poor learning environment, but you cannot maintain your own office. That's double standard. It doesn't work that way. So if you're going to hold people accountable, then you must start with yourself.
But that's why they're not even bothering. So everybody's just doing what they want to do. That's what it is because they have not set the standards from the first branch
No,
of government. If
no.
they set the standard from the first branch of government, then they
Yeah,
will have the prosecutorial power to bring those people and hold them in contempt and
of course.
send them to the temple of justice through the ministry of justice to
Mhm,
deal with them. But
of
they
course.
themselves have no standards, nothing they have put in place, or they go over there to make noise. Cause I
This
have put it,
year,
make
like
noise,
I
cuss
said,
each other mom.
yeah,
I've
like
heard
I
people
said,
literally cuss each other mothers in the arguments
yeah.
on the floor, live on
Sometimes,
KMTV, Spoon TV, YouTube, wherever they are. How can these people bring so much disrepute and shame to that country?
it is a
Time and
shame.
time immemorial. And then
It
you
is
say,
a shame.
oh, how about the past government? No, no, no.
No, we're not making
I don't want to be
comparison
like
here.
anybody.
Yeah, government is
Shelton
continuing.
don't want to be like anybody. That's why
No,
I am my own me. So I want to take blame for everything that I do.
yeah,
I don't want anybody to say, oh, why when Ashford was there, Ashford wasn't there. No, everything I'm talking about here tonight rests on me and is me. Ashford is not here tonight. So I cannot blame Ashford for anything, or nobody should blame Ashford. But that's
no.
what it is. The people always don't want to take responsibility for the current action. They always apply it
They
to the
always
previous.
shifting blame. Yeah,
You
oh
know,
well, they always shifting blame on the Salif administration. Oh well, Salif administration didn't do this, didn't do that. It's always Salif administration. They never take responsibility for anything that they do. But they want the credit. The
some
president
of them
goes.
work in Ellen's administration. Some of them work.
Oh yes, it did.
You
But
know what it means to be in senatorial position for 9 years and then almost 18?
yeah, but these are the same people that are shifting blame today on the Salif administration. Most of them, President Salih didn't do this, or the Salih administration didn't do that. Okay, but look, you spent 12 years campaigning. You say you had the brightest of ideas. You had a capability of improving the living condition of the people. And you can maintain your own what? National legislature. In this year fiscal budget, you have more than $25 million in your budget, but you don't have running water at the national legislature. Your bathrooms are in what? Shambles. You have $25 million allocated for you, but you cannot maintain your own bathroom. And you say, oh, well, it's the Salif administration that did this. Salif
Samuel Abu
administration did that.
Samuel Abu wrote here, he said they operate like well-dressed man on the outside wearing dirty underwear.
Absolutely,
You
and just
know,
like I said earlier, there is a relationship between good health and human environment, where you live, the way you maintain your environment. That way, enable you to either live long or die early. Am I lying, Mr. Shelton?
no, absolutely, bro.
If you don't
And that's
maintain your environment, if you don't maintain your environment, obviously you're going to live a short life. Our lawmakers need to get to the drawing table and make this a priority. It is shameful for Senator Sherman, one of Liberia's prominent lawyers, to be in a legislature, in a Senate, where people are literally hauling water from down Ken Johnson Road to the Senate. That's shameful. That's embarrassing. Young Kanga, you can sit there and look at this. Senator DeLon, they lied. You guys have to move. Edwin Snow, let's call their names. Milton Tiaji, the loudmouth, former deputy minister of information.
Jay Milt.
Yeah, Jeno, you guys have to do something, man. This is shameful. This is embarrassing. Buffer Chima, who was very critical of the Salih government.
Let me cut you off right there quick. Go see Buffer Chima house on GSA Road. He bought a property. I'm not sure if it's Mr. Azango property that he bought or right there. This
Okay.
guy's fence is higher than the fence that Donald Trump was building. I'm telling you. With
The,
everything in it, man. And
the,
how
the 12, how you call it,
the border wall.
the border wall that Trump
Yeah.
was.
Guys who didn't have nothing. These guys are filthy rich. The new
Yeah.
scheme now is to build schools.
And so
They
you
build
see that?
universities because that's the way that
Yeah.
they're going to make money when they're no longer in power.
Mhm.
You know what it
And
means to
then,
have school running?
And then
You know?
when he leaves from home, he goes to the capital and tell his office assistants to put water in the bucket and take to his bathroom. Can you imagine that? What kind of slavery is that? Don't reduce our people to that, man.
And unfortunately, people, my man, no job, no
Our
job.
people are poor. They are taking advantage of our people. They are exploiting them. This is shameful. This is embarrassing. You can be having millions of dollars and you can't even maintain your own bathroom. No, man. They need to do better than this. Our lawmakers need to do better than this.
And everywhere, Moses, everywhere in the city. Look
Yeah.
at the piles of dirt on
Oh,
most of the
yeah.
main streets,
Mhm.
all over the place.
Poor maintenance. Poor
You
maintenance.
know,
You know, the president went to the schools. The entire MCSS, Mr. Shelton, the budgetary allocation for MCSS, the Monrovia Consolidated School System that operate public schools, is less than $4 million. And you have few men at the capital with a whopping more than $25 million. And they can't even maintain their own bathroom. Then the president goes to MCSS school and complain about what? Poor sanitary condition? No, Mr. President, you're being hypocritical here, man. If you cannot maintain, if your lawmaker cannot maintain their own bathrooms, your budgetary allocation to the MCSS is less than $4 million. How do you expect the MCSS to pay salaries, conduct trainings for teachers, and at the same time maintain public institutions?
you seen Tottenham High? The place, I don't think it's been painted for years. You know,
It's
and
not
even
possible.
in the classrooms, the light bulbs all blown up, but they still got nice school. So how you gonna teach high school?
Yeah, how do you do that? In Canada, it is impossible for the MCSS or Tottenham High to conduct any kind of a renovation work because the school is broke. MCSS is broke. What can $4 million do for several public schools?
Have you ever gone to a filthy bathroom? You jam, but by the time you enter, you saw the place, all your jamness went back. Have you ever been there?
Of course, you end up,
Any
you
of the
open,
places in
you
Monrovia
open the
that
door,
have
you
look?
say, okay, you open the door, you say, you know what, I think I will just try to manage this.
Nobody. In fact, your whole system will shut down, and you know your whole system will shut down, and you
And
you,
then, you know,
you
I
won't
give
even
you,
have a desire to.
give
Well,
me
let
that.
me go to the line. I got a caller
Sure.
calling here tonight. Let me see. Good evening, caller. Where you calling from? What's your name?
Hey, grace and peace. Buchanan,
Yeah,
Buchanan Center, and Ambassador Sandy. Good evening. Grace and peace to you. It's Ash Wednesday. Dr. Carter here from Western PA.
oh, Zizi, the Reverend.
Welcome, Dr. Carter.
I'm listening to you guys. Ambassador Sandy, you know, we begin the season of Lent today.
Okay.
So I want to remain spiritual. I want to be holistic. And I want to pray for the land, for the healing of the land and renewal. You know, scripture reminds us that the lack of vision, when people lack vision, the people will perish.
Absolutely.
Liberia needs healing.
Yeah.
Water in itself, environmentally, water in itself is life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, can you imagine the 21st century?
Yeah.
And you guys sit up there on Capitol Hill and are making probably $15,000 a month, and common water and sanitation cannot be accessible. I can just imagine. I was talking to somebody who was the Capitol Hill reporter a couple of weeks ago, and they were telling her about the deplorable state at the Capitol.
Yeah, it's sad.
All these guys who are in coat suits. I mean, I'm wondering, Shetom, Ambassador Sandy, what has become of Liberia? The mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Hmm.
So what, pathologically, is it a trauma from war that has got the people in the state in which they are, that little kids cannot afford common water to drink,
Hmm.
but street lights are being lighted and people are dancing all over the place?
All right, Jose,
you
thank
know,
you. I got
it's
another caller in queue.
yeah, it's pathetic. So I think Liberians got to begin to say no, not only at home but also in the diaspora.
I agree.
That
All
we
right,
need a concerted effort and the movement for behavior change in our
thank you.
country. Something is really wrong
Thank you,
with the
Jose.
Liberian mindset and the pathology.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you.
You're
Call
absolutely right, Dr. Potter.
3389. You will be
You're
our last
absolutely
caller.
right.
Where you calling from?
Yeah, hi, Shelton. This is Emmanuel Jackson calling from Boston.
Oh, okay, Emmanuel. Welcome. How you doing?
Not bad, fine, good.
Go ahead. Let's
Yeah,
make a quick contribution so we can wrap this up.
y- yeah. I had similar experience when I went home onto a bakery called Family Bakery. It's been in Liberia for many years. I think on the about 4 months bridge there going towards Little Down Cinema. And I went going home. I just wanted to get some fresh bread, and so I stopped there, and I wanted to attend nature. And so I asked the associate in the bakery. I said, "Can I use the bathroom quick?" He said, "Oh, sir, you have to go outside behind the bathroom. I mean, behind the building." So I went behind the building and next to where they have the fan that where they do the bakery. There where people will go and eat themselves for nature. And while coming out, I saw this the proprietor who owns the place coming from in his apartment behind the building, locking the place. And I said, "Sir, you sell food in here. You need to have a public bathroom." And he said, "Oh, it's been like this for years. You put an argument with it." But I was just trying to say to Mr. Long story short, even into the private sector, you find that the private sector, people feel
Yes.
like it's not their responsibility to do these things because the government is not enforcing it. And I'm
Hmm.
always said that for Brother Shelter and Brother Sandy, we have to start somewhere to build institutions. We haven't started here in Liberia.
That's
It
true.
takes time, and we have to start from the very bottom. You see, the other day I saw some kids picking up cans in a garbage place. Okay, that's a good example. You could hire those kids, employ them, and put them in waste management or services, and pay
Hmm.
them little by little. And as it grows from year to year, you can build a retirement system for them, and that's how you do it. That's how they did
Absolutely.
it all over the world. When Luther King was killed, he went to Memphis to do what? To make negotiation for the garbage workers that were there. We have to start somewhere, but we have to start it anywhere yet to
Hmm.
build this institution. And these are the basic institutions that we have to develop and will show that we are a developing nation.
Thank
I
you very
just
much
want
for
to
that,
say that. Yeah.
brother Emmanuel.
Absolutely right.
Appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Moses, we at the finish line, and let me let you give your parting words before we wrap this up.
Yeah, I want to say thanks again to you and thanks to the management of Bridge Radio for the opportunity
And
to
also,
come in.
thank you for availing yourself too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for the public recognition and acknowledgement of what we continue to do. But it is good to come and talk about these issues. We talk about these issues not because we hate anybody. We are not a supporter of any political party. We have no political alliance with any political party. But we just feel that it is important sometimes to talk about some of these critical issues. As a media person, as a social worker, my job is 100% advocacy. So I'd like to have discussion about issues that we help to change lives. So it is always an honor to be on this platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you so much. I appreciate you
Mhm.
coming in. Just sharing with us. Uh, can't ask for more, my brother. Thanks for your expertise. We appreciate it. I'm sure the Bridge Radio family also appreciate you.
Sure,
Have a good
sure.
night.
You do the same.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the finish line here tonight. We covered a lot of important things. We talked about poor hygiene facilities in public institutions around the country. We also kind of put a spin on the Ebola crisis globally, right at the border of Liberia and Guinea. We made sure that if evil hasn't entered, all we can do is pray and hope that it doesn't. I heard I've seen rather from one of the writers here that it's already in Sierra Leone. That would be crazy again that this region continues to suffer. So we have to better pray, but in the same token of prayer, we have to put a quick help tax form together, Enfield, Ministry of Health, DEA, immigration, all of that. Come together and start to take action and see how we can hopefully get borders and make sure that we test it. So again, we'll be back here on Friday, hopefully with Nigeria discuss some very important things that we do in the coming months. Hopefully, Ashford will be back here next Monday. As I said earlier, we will be bringing back Massa Washington to discuss recommendations of the TRC. So it's all dossier. So it will take a few days to do that. Thank you so much, all of you, for being there with us. Top FM 15.3 for giving us your time. Liberia, for FM 105.